This is Kerrigan & Company. My friends at Sienna Aesthetic Spa in Beverly have some really big news. Just in time for swimsuit season, they now have 2 experts certified to use their awesome Clarity 2 laser for hair removal, spider vein removal, and photofacials, which will remove those sun and age spots. And now, for a limited time, book an appointment with one of their estheticians and receive an additional 10% off on their already low packages. And then you add a facial, and you still get 10% off. This happens through the end of June. Call the spa at 978-993-8300 or go to siennaaesthetics.com. Hi, everyone. This is Kim. Join me for this episode of Kerrigan & Company about family, fans, and making a difference.
Kerrigan & Company is here for you. Yes, Kerrigan & Company is here for you.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Kerrigan & Company. So good to have you with us today. I'm really excited about today's episode because we are going to be talking, and keeping me company today is someone who has been, no doubt, a very big part of your lives. And you may not even know it because you have celebrated anniversaries and birthdays and pre-proms and just girls' night out in a restaurant that is his blood, sweat, and tears. There's no two ways about it. Of course, I'm talking about Kowloon in Saugus, and with me is Bobby Wong. Good to see you.
Hi, nice to see you.
That is not an exaggeration, is it? That is how people have used your restaurant for special occasions and...
Definitely. We have people coming in, and they'll say they've been coming in since they were a kid with their parents, and now they have kids, and, they're celebrating all types of anniversary, birthdays, proms, first dates, and
it's
whatnot,
so great. I was at a party, I have to tell you, on Saturday night, and I mentioned that you were going to be on. Mm-hmm. And 2 or 3 people immediately like, oh my gosh. And then they started to tell me their stories about the restaurant. I mean, you are the fabric of this community.
Yeah, well, it's nice to hear that. Definitely nice to hear that. But, we feel that we've been here so long. It's 75 years. And, being a part of people's lives, not only from the customer standpoint, but the wait staff, the cooks, and people that have been for 30, 40, 50 years in some cases. I guess you can say we're a way of life, if you want to say that.
Thank you. There you go. That's exactly what you are. That's a good way to put it. You're a way of life. We're going to talk about the 75-year anniversary, which is this year, 2025, and you guys have been celebrating all year with a big event coming up.
Yeah, we are planning a huge gala. It's going to be a block party outside because we used to have some of the anniversaries, every 5 years we'd have an anniversary party. We'd have it indoors.
Sure. And
this one here, being the 75th, is going to be very big, and we're going to have it outdoors so we can fit more people. We're calling it a big block party, and we have some great entertainment. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, it's going to be great, and we're going to talk more about that. But I want to just talk a little bit about going back to being, part of the fabric of the community. What do you think, Bobby, it is, besides longevity, obviously, but what is it about the restaurant that has made it so successful and so special for people?
Well, I just think it's almost like we know your name. We always have a family member on the floor, if not in the kitchen, and we've gotten to know so many of the people over the years that it's become almost like seeing friends come in. It's not even like a business in some ways, but I think we've been there so long. Definitely, longevity does have a factor. But it became a favorite for people to come and bringing in their family members that happen to be visiting from out of state or wherever. And now we've become a tourist destination as well. So
absolutely,
we've been very fortunate. So.
I think, at the root of every restaurant, the experience is certainly important. But you have to have good food.
Right.
And I would imagine that's been an interesting challenge to keep up both an experience and the food quality.
Definitely. If you don't serve food that people want, they're not going to come back. Mm-hmm. So we've been fortunate, and it's all about being consistent. And because our staff has been there so long, it's always been a consistent situation. Like I said, we have staff, our head chef who retired a few years ago. He was there since the very beginning, over 50 years. People under him are 30, 40 years. and the people that they're training coming on board, they're being taught the same way that
Sure.
We've had that same recipe for forever.
I was fascinated. I've never spoken to anyone who owns a restaurant who has this situation. You guys have, is it 6 kitchens?
Let's see, I'm trying to think now. 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 kitchens right
5
now.
kitchens.
Right.
And then so you have your overall chef. Then you
Right.
have chefs in each one of those kitchens. I'm sure you have
Exactly.
someone who runs each of those kitchens.
Yes.
And then I
Yes.
mean, how many employees are we talking about here?
Well, we're talking over 200 full and part-time employees. Just the kitchen alone, we're in about 50.
Wow,
I never
Bobby.
count because it keeps
Well, right,
fluctuating.
they're going.
But it's over 50, and the rest of the staff make up over 200 people coming and going. So,
The restaurant business has been beat up since COVID. That is for sure. How do you keep 200 plus employees? Because a lot of restaurants have been able to stay open because of the employee, I'm going to call it shortage, if you will.
yeah, we have to sell a lot of fried rice. That's and unfortunately, we've been able to sell a lot of fried rice, but we're able to keep it because we're able to maintain the volume. If you don't have volume, you can't have people working.
But how do you keep those employees is what I mean. Because, not everybody loves the idea of working in a restaurant.
Right. You have to treat them well. So I think that's the key. My parents taught us that, you treat the employees well, they'll stay by your side and stay loyal. Over the years, they've made enough, a decent living that they're able to support a family, support buying a house, sending the kids to college, and in some instances they leave and start their own businesses. So if you don't treat them well and they can't afford to make a living, they're going to be leaving. So it's like everybody else. But I think the way, not only on the monetary side, but I think the way we treat them with respect, I think that's the biggest thing that I learned from my parents. So they would help them with if there was a car loan, they needed help payment, a down payment on a house, whether it's a college tuition that they needed help with just to get the kids started in school. My parents would always be there, and we've learned from that, and we've kept that. Hopefully we've been able to do a successful transition from them to us, and we're able to keep that culture in place.
That's family.
Yeah, that's family. They're all family to us, though.
Yeah, absolutely. What's the longest running employee besides one of your siblings? We can't include them.
Include the siblings. I would say about 40 years right now. Yeah,
that's
40 years.
something else. That is.
I mean,
that's
the
just
previous
unheard of.
one was over 50, but now it's about 40.
Right,
Yeah, so
right.
we're lucky. We're very fortunate because without the staff, you don't have a restaurant. So.
Well, that's very, very true. Well, we have a lot to talk about, the two of us.
Yes.
We've got some guests today. I'm very excited because we've got a guest. Her name's Kate O'Donnell, and Kate's going to join us. She runs the Joey Fund. Very near and dear to your heart.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about that and talk about the Joey Fund and hear from her. And we also are going to talk about something that's coming up here in Boston over this next weekend, which is a ton of fun, a big fan fest. And one of the actors who's going to be here in Boston is going to join us in just a moment. Bobby Wong is with me, keeping me company from Kowloon. And this is Kerrigan and Company.
Have you tried Rumson Rum yet? This smooth, sweet, memorable rum is distilled in the Caribbean, barreled aged, and then blended, finished, and bottled in Salem, Massachusetts. Rumson's offers 4 unique blends: Gold, Spice, Grand Reserved, and Coffee. Before you start to sip or mix your next cocktail, ask yourself, do I want to enjoy New England's most awarded rum brand? If the answer is yes, the answer is Rumson's. Get Rumson's rum at liquor stores or ask for it by name at your favorite restaurant. Rumson's. Life lived, life enjoyed.
Grease is the world's #1 musical. Grease is a rock and roll celebration, and Grease is still the word at North Shore Music Theater from August 12th through August 24th. Get tickets at nsmt.org.
This segment of Kerrigan and Company is brought to you by Lucia Lighting and Design, where people in the know go for the best possible lighting and design experience. Well, we're having a great time, and as you know, keeping me company today is Bobby Wong, of course, from the Kowloon restaurant. 75 years they are celebrating this year. Big event coming up on August the 20th, and we're going to talk more about that a little bit later in the show. But if you're around and you can make that block party, I have a feeling there's going to be a little food and a little fun fun, right?
Right, a
Would
lot
that
of
be
fun.
about right?
Exactly.
But we want to take a minute because there's something coming up this weekend right here in Boston, Fan Fest. And it's the Fan Expo, actually. I call it Fan Fest. I think, sort of the same thing. I think it's been called Fan Fest in other cities. And it's a big celebration of actors who have been, a lot of them in sci-fi types of films. And it's an opportunity for fans to meet some of these actors and to get to know them a little bit better. And one of them, and we are lucky enough to have him joining us today, is Mark Pellegrino. Mark, I know that you know who he is. Supernatural. He played Lucifer there. He was in Dexter, which I know you just about jumped out of your chair when you heard.
Big fan of Dexter.
He's in Lost, and I could go on and on. Mark Pellegrino joining us. Good to see you, Mark.
Good to see you guys. Thanks for having me.
I was saying to Bobby that after researching the more than 140 credits that you have to your name, which is amazing, acting both in film and on television, you never look the same in any one role to me. You look different, which is that in and of itself is amazing to me.
Well, thanks. I just thought it was called aging, but it's also character choices as well. Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to this project that I'm doing upcoming, which I cannot talk about because I'm under NDA, because I think I will look different than any other role I've ever done before. So it's going to be super fun.
Awesome. Well, where will we see that? Can you at least say that? Will we see it on TV? Will we see it in the theaters? We won't tell anyone. Go ahead. You just tell us.
You will see it on TV.
Okay.
I can't tell you the network or anything like that, but I think it's going to be great.
So Bobby was a huge Dexter fan.
Yeah, definitely. Ooh. And I saw that you were in a few episodes, about 8 episodes or something like that, or a couple of years. And,
yeah, I was in the first season. I was Julie Benz's ex-husband, who had a bit of a drug problem and a bit of an abuse problem, and had just gotten out of prison and was going to set his life right and get his wife back and get his kids back. But there's this guy named Dexter in the way, and who, of course, I'm suspicious of. Who wouldn't be? He's a serial killer, so we go on a back and forth, and where he's sort of taking over my father role to these children, and it causes an increasing amount of tension until, spoiler alert, Dexter has to do something about it.
No, but that became one of my favorites. I started binge watching it, and I hadn't seen it when it was first going on in the series, but then all of a sudden I caught it on TV, and I said, I got to watch these series, and I would stay up till like 3, 4 in the morning when I should have been in bed already, trying to catch as many episodes as I could. It's a great series.
Well,
it's a great series with the serial killer's the hero.
Yeah,
I know.
Well, he's everybody's dream. He's killing the bad guys.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, Bobby said to me earlier, doesn't everybody sort of want to be Dexter at some point in their life? Like, well, yeah, kind of. I think you're right. But I got to tell you,
or Batman. I think I prefer Batman.
Well, there you go. I think you're probably right.
Some gravitas that goes with it.
Mark, talk a little bit about some of your favorite roles, because I mean, I know you as being Lucifer. From Supernatural, but I know you from a lot of, which again, when my producer said you were coming on, immediately I knew, you from that role. But then I realized that I knew you from so many other roles, like 13 Reasons Why. I thought that was a fabulous little series. I have a young daughter who read the books, and so it all started there. But then I started looking at some of your accomplishments. My God, The Big Lebowski, and you were in Capote, and you've just been in so many and worked with some unbelievable directors.
Yeah, I've been fortunate that way. Not a lot of actors can say that, and so especially Capote, working with the great Philip Seymour Hoffman, who was one of my heroes, one of my acting idols, and to be able to sit down and have breakfast with him and talk about acting and talk about life. It was really, really a treat, given what happened to him later on. I'm glad I had those precious moments with him. I feel like one of my favorite roles, though, is a role I don't often get to play, and I got to play it on The Closer in the last season of that show, where I played Kira Sedgwick's defense attorney, Gavin Q. Baker III. And what I loved about that character was not only that he was flamboyantly gay, unapologetic, the smartest and toughest guy in the room, but for once I got to wear wardrobe that was Well, more than most people pay in mortgages. Every week I had a $6,000 suit. I literally wore a watch one time that was worth $450,000.
Well, did you get to keep that?
I did not. No, it would not let me keep that, or the Cartier rings that I wore, or the brooches that I wore every week. But it was so fun playing that part, being articulate and being the smartest guy in the room, and the guy who bests the heroine of the story, who's even tougher than the heroine of the story. That was a really cool experience, and I was hoping he'd come back in Major Crimes, but he never did.
Yeah. Well, that's fantastic. I love it. Talk about your background. Where are you from? How did you get here? How did all of this happen?
I was born in the Valley. I was raised in the Valley in the late '60s and early '70s, and when it was a suburb. Now it's not so much that. It's sort of gone to seed. The house I used to live in no longer looks like the house I used to live in. I went to a private high school, Notre Dame High School. My mom sacrificed a great deal because she was a single mom raising me to send me to a private high school at the time, because the public high schools were sort of going to seed. And I decided to work because I didn't want her to have to pay for my books. So I started working at a local fast food place so that I could pay for my books every year. And I worked throughout my high school time there, and then briefly went to college, but got bored after a year. I was straight A's. I got straight A's, but I got bored, checked out, and stumbled into acting by chance because I was 19, going on 20, and I figured I got to do something, and I don't know what I want to do anymore. I was in a mall, and I saw a advertisement for John Robert Powers, sort of a cheesy modeling place. They were taking applicants. I went in there. I paid for like a modeling course, and then they gave me a commercial workshop for free. I went into the commercial workshop. The guy thought I had some talent. I don't know why. I didn't know what I was doing. But he set me up with an agent. And then later on I started working actually before I knew what acting even was. But then the agent set me up with a theater company. He gave me a list of 10 actually, and I chose the one that was cheapest and closest to me. And it actually happened to be one of the best theater companies, I think, on the West Coast. And, they turned out actors like Ashley Judd and James Franco and Scotty Kahn and Jeff Goldblum were all associated with that group, and became a small working group of folks that did plays together. And I would go back there and teach, for about 16 years, and then go away to work, come back and teach to stay close to the technique. And now my wife owns a theater company in Paris, so I go over to Paris and teach there from time to time when I'm not working.
Oh, that's a great story. Great success story. I mean, you had to persevere during times and just made it on your own.
Made it, but there's luck too. I mean, a lot of it was luck and being at the right place at the right time, and being prepared when you're at the right place at the right time, because you could still be there and not be able to turn that moment into an opportunity if you're not ready.
Well, that's the difference between a lot of people with success and not.
100%.
Everybody has that one time of an opportunity, and some people are able to grab it and go with it, and other people just miss it. So
I equate that to athletics. If you're a backup, you got to be ready because your one moment may come, and when it does, you got to be ready to go. And clearly, you have done that. When you set out to act, did you have a preference? Were you looking to be, a television, a film actor? Where do you go, or do you just take what you can get at first?
It's funny, yeah. I just like working. So whenever the jobs come along, I like putting bread and onions on the table and keeping the lights on. Sure. So it's not like I finally craft my career, as some people do. I mean, there's things I turn down, of course, but if you want me to work, I'm a team player, and I just love the craft of acting. So I just bring my best to every job that I have. And when I started acting, I really didn't know anything about it. I wasn't a cinephile. It wasn't like I watched the normal amount of television for a kid in the 70s, which was considerably less, I think, than kids today, but it was still, enough. But it wasn't like it was, a chosen medium for me. I had to discover how amazing acting was. And that happened when I fell into this theater company and discovered that acting is a profession. And there's a technique behind it, and you have to study like you would if you were studying to be a surgeon or a pilot. You have a pantheon of material that you have to work on, and you have to constantly hone your craft. And it was that I fell in love with. And I didn't even think about jobs for 10 years. I just worried about going to class every day, rehearsing every day, putting up plays, getting on stage. And then it became about, well, when I did get a job, it was very different from the lab conditions of a acting school. Lots of different pressures, lots of pressure to perform and to do a result, and that's usually the death of acting. And then there's a learning curve trying to figure out, well, how do I balance that need for results with my need to just experience it as I'm experiencing it and to be free and experimental. And that's what I think takes 20 years to learn. My teacher said it takes 20 years to be an actor, and I think it's 2 years to learn the technique and 18 years to get out of your own way and be able to practice with self-esteem and to know what you need to get where you go, and to be unashamed about asking for what you want, for your conditions, basically.
Sure. Absolutely.
I can see you love what you do. That's the key, right?
I do.
Yeah, you should own a Chinese restaurant, just like myself.
I hope I get to go visit your Chinese restaurant.
Yeah, I was going to say, when you come into Boston, you have to drop
Bobby,
by. We would love to see you.
Mark, he owns a restaurant here that is legendary, not just in this area, but it's the largest Chinese restaurant
in America.
In America.
So.
Wow.
They seat 1,200. They have 5 kitchens, and are celebrating 75 years in his family. All from the family.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's really
Congratulations. That's quite an achievement.
I don't know about that. It seems like a life term, so you get, when you're born, 75 years.
Give it to us now. Sign up.
I watch Hell's Kitchen and Top Chef, and I'm telling you, I would not be able to do what you guys do. You do it under incredible pressure in a very competitive industry. And to stay alive for 75 years, especially after the COVID debacles that closed down so many businesses, you're awesome.
Thank you.
You're tough.
Mark,
you're awesome. I got to watch more Dexter. I hope they bring you back. That would be awesome.
Mark, you're coming to town. Tell me a little bit about coming to Boston. You ever been to Boston?
I have. I love Boston.
Good.
I'm an American history buff, and I love the colonial period of American history, especially, and the Revolutionary period.
Yeah.
So when I go to Boston, I feel like I'm going home. Actually, even though I was born and raised in Van Nuys, California, it's like Philadelphia and Boston are my two preferred destinations. So, I don't know if I'll be able to get out that much, though, this time around, because I'll be bringing my 19-year-old dachshund with me. And he's been having some health issues, but he's been my buddy since he was 6 weeks old. And he's my heart and soul. So if he's ready to go out, I'll go out with him. If not, we rest in the hotel and, do the convention.
I totally understand that. You've got a couple of projects coming up. I think you're the producer. Strangers in a Strange Land. Yes?
Strangers in a Strange Land is a series of short films my wife and I did over a series of years of traveling. We'd write a short film for every country and city that we were in. And we did these beautiful little romantic short films where basically that revolve around miscommunication or cultural differences between people that cause, a comedy of errors, so to speak. And then my wife it's just finished post-production on another film that she did called Je suis Hamlet. We filmed it in Paris, and it's a mockumentary. And I think it's going out to sellers actually right now. The other film, the compilation of shorts, is going to have to wait a while because she wants to redo 2 of the shorts.
Wow. Okay. Very good. And then, of course, this project that you're not talking about, that your lips are sealed, but we'll hopefully find out sometime this year?
Yes, you will. Also, there's Murdoch coming out on Hulu.
Right. About the murders?
I don't know if you guys know about the Murdoch murders.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They did a Lifetime series about it. They've done about 4 or 5 documentaries. Well, Hulu has done an amazing rendition of this. It's a limited series. It's going to be coming out probably in the next 5 or 6 months. And I play Cousin Eddie. So if you watch the HBO documentary, you'll know who Cousin Eddie is.
I do.
So you're keeping busy. That sounds
absolutely good. A man who is very busy. Mark Pellegrino, it's been a treat to have you here on Kerrigan and Company. Thank you so very much, and I hope you have a wonderful stay here in Boston when you arrive. And if you can get to the Kowloon, I would highly recommend it.
Thanks for having me.
You bet.
Take care.
This is Kerrigan and Company. August 9th and 10th is tax-free weekend in Massachusetts. If you're looking for incredible lighting for inside or outside your home, you need to go to Lucia Lighting and Design at 311 Western Avenue in Lynn. Make an appointment to go anytime this week and pre-order, or Lucia will be open Saturday until 2 p.m. So head to Lucia Lighting, the best lighting store in Massachusetts, and get tax-free savings. I know you'll find something you love. I always do. Learn more and take a virtual tour at lucialighting.com. That's lucialighting.com. This segment of Kerrigan & Company is brought to you by Bill Haney's North Shore Music Theater. Head back to the 1950s with an all-new production of the hit musical Grease, playing August 12th through the 24th. Get your tickets at nsmt.org. Welcome back, everybody, to Kerrigan & Company. And keeping me company today, Bobby Wong from Kowloon. Good to have you.
Nice to see you.
We're going to talk about the name of Kowloon and a whole lot of other things about it when we continue. But we got a guest first who is going to join us, who is someone that you brought to us, and I'm so glad that you did. And it's for a fund that is very near and dear to your heart, the Joey Fund. And joining us today is the executive director of the Joey Fund. This is Kate O'Donnell, and it's good to see you, Kate.
It's so good to see you guys. Thank you for having me. I'm thrilled.
Absolutely. So I got to ask Bobby, if you don't mind.
Of course.
Let's talk about the Joey Fund. Why is the Joey Fund so important to you guys at Kowloon?
Well, it was started by a very good friend of the family, Joe O'Donnell, and I met him at the Kowloon probably 50 years ago, somewhere around there, 40, 50 years ago. I can't even remember.
Oh, yeah.
But I think he was introduced by mutual friends, Mike Lynch and Eddie Endelman.
Yep.
And
Wow.
met him, and since then we became very good friends, and
Sure.
we decided to do something for the fund that he actually started, the foundation he actually started, and our very first anniversary party, probably the 50th, that was a big one. So we decided that the proceeds for that anniversary would go to the Joey Fund as well. And fast forward now, it's 25 years later, we're at the 75th anniversary, and we have to bring back the Joey Fund as one of the beneficiaries of the event.
Sure. So, big event coming up there at Kowloon. They're celebrating 75 years, and they're having a big event August the 20th. And the proceeds from that are going to go to the Joey Fund, if I understand it all correctly, right?
Correct.
And the Joey Fund, Kate, tell us, who was Joey?
So Joey was my brother, Joey O'Donnell. He had cystic fibrosis, and he died when he was 12 years old, right before I was born. And back at that time, cystic fibrosis, there were no treatments, there was no hope, there wasn't really anything you could do except gather together and try to raise funds if you could. So my parents started this nonprofit, the Joey Fund, even before he passed away. And they realized that the only way to make a difference in these kids' lives was to raise money and funnel it towards research. And the progress that we've made in the past 35 years is astounding. We partnered with Vertex and a bunch of other different companies, the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, and we now have 4 different genetic modulator drugs. 90+% of people with CF have a treatment, not a cure yet, we're not there yet, but a treatment, and are living amazing lives. They're having children. It's an unbelievable time to be here. But Joey was a really popular kid. He was a sweetheart. People loved him. He played sports, and he didn't let his disease define him.
And in fact, when he was born, your mom and dad were told that he wasn't going to live very long, and he did live 12 full years.
That's right. They said he probably wouldn't live past 6 months.
Yeah.
And he lived for another 12 years and really inspired a bunch of people, including Mike Lynch.
Right, sure,
Well,
sure.
the research has really been phenomenal, and naturally you need money for research. And the thing that always gets me is the fact that there's no cure yet. You know what I'm saying? So anybody that gets it, it's still a waiting game in some cases, and it's, how long really before it gets to be a point where it's difficult.
Exactly.
It's different for everybody. So
Yeah. Everyone who has CF, it's a different case. You know, different mutations manifest in different manners, and we have these treatments for about 90% of people, which is just hard to wrap your mind around at this point.
Absolutely.
But, you know, a lot of those people, if they go on those drugs when they're 20, 30 years old, they already have lung disease. They've already had damage to their digestion. They've had, you know, it's a complicated system. But a lot of these drugs now are available for 6-month-old babies. And if you begin taking Trikafta, Kalydeco, all these drugs that we have now at 6 months old, you have the chance of never developing any of the symptoms of cystic fibrosis.
Which is amazing. I mean, that the change there just alone, right, is unbelievable. I want to ask you more about the fundraising, but before we do, I just think it's so interesting that you are involved in this family, nonprofit. Which, by the way, it's a nonprofit I feel confident that your parents wish they never would have had to have put together.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize, Kate, that you didn't know Joey.
No, I didn't.
I mean, you must feel like you know. Do you feel like you know him?
I do, yeah. So Joey died 3 months before I was born. So my mom was heavily pregnant with me.
Right.
She is a superstar. I don't know how she even managed that, but.
Right.
My parents made it a very big point to make sure that Joey felt alive in our household. It was not a taboo subject. There were pictures of him all over the house. We celebrated his birthday, and it made it feel like my sister Casey and I got to know him, and we got to know him through our cousins and our family members. And I think in having it as such a non-taboo subject, we were allowed to keep his memory alive and do as much as we have been able to do with the Joey Fund. You know, we all became very, very comfortable with the subject at a very early age.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful that they were able to do that for us.
Absolutely. How much money have you guys raised over the years? Do you have any idea?
I do. My dad was responsible for upwards of $500 million raised through the Joey Fund. Yeah. It's
Kate.
astounding.
It is. It is. And you've watched that $500 million turn into actual action.
Yes.
Which is just phenomenal.
It is.
Will there be a cure?
There will be a cure. I cannot tell you when. I wish I could.
Yeah.
But based on what's going on right now, I'm on the board of the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation as well. And, we're just funneling money into trying to find a cure. We just made a deal funneling $24 million into genetic research, because that's what we're doing now. It's genetic modification in trying to cure this 10% or find a treatment for this 10% left of people with CF who have no treatment or can't handle the medications, and then finding a cure overall. But that's going to take a lot of money to do. These drugs are, they're millions, billions of dollars. So.
Yeah,
it's funny when we were doing this project this year for the 75th, I went up to Kate and said, Kate, I don't think I'm going to raise millions for you. But I promise you, we're going to get some public relations out of it. We're going to push the name Joey Fund out there so that people know the Joey Fund even more. That's the goal. Right. If you don't know about that foundation, you won't donate. So the idea is to create a bunch of a fun evening, and with the proceeds going to the Joey Fund, and push that name out as much as we can.
Absolutely.
It's amazing, and we're so grateful for your partnership.
Well, it's our friendship. Our friendship has gone forever.
Our best friends in the world.
Yeah, right.
And my dad loved the Kowloon. I mean, every birthday, everything, we always went to the Kowloon. But I think it's really important that you made that point, is that the way that we've been able to raise money, I mean, I can't raise the levels of money that my dad was able to. I am not Joe O'Donnell. But these passion projects are the way that people are able to raise money like this. People always come to me and say, how did you raise that much money? I didn't. And it's been years, accumulation of years and years and years of these passion projects of people all around the world bringing in, $10,000. The first film premiere we did, I think my parents raised like $2,000.
Yeah.
And now we raise $1 million a year, but it's 40 years later.
Right.
So this is, it's piece by piece.
It's a lot of
And
work.
it all matters.
But every dime matters, you
Yes.
bet. So coming up on the 20th, as we said, August 20th, big event there at the Kowloon. Outdoors, we're calling it a block party.
Right.
Which is really, really fun. And by the way, you can still get your tickets, but we can talk about that in a bit here. But you guys have some really fun things beyond just what the restaurant is doing. You have some really fun things. So tell us about the sneakers that are sitting here and what that's all about.
Bobby and I are really excited about these sneakers. This is a collaboration. So a few years ago, do you want to talk about the collaboration that you did a few years ago?
Oh, well, yeah, we actually just did a Kowloon sneaker a few years ago, and it was with nobody else other than just the Kowloon. And we didn't know how it was going to sell, like you said. So I said, well, I'm going to put it online, and we'll see how it sells. If I sell 2 pairs, no one's going to know because we said we're going to say sold out. But in a day and a half, we had to stop taking orders because we sold over 150 pairs of sneakers. And the guy that was doing the sneakers, he was going to be hand painting them. He said, no more. So unfortunately, it took a lot longer to actually fabricate all those sneakers after we got those orders. So our thought was, the next sneaker we wanted to do something for a charity, not just for the Kowloon name. So, of course, the first charity that came into mind was the Joey Fund.
Let's do it for this.
Threw that in their ear, and this is where we are now.
So hold one of those up, honey, and just show. Let's put it toward the camera. And for those of you who are listening and can't see it, they are so fun. They are like a fortune cookie.
Yep.
They have a little tab on them. They are in that fortune cookie tan color. They have a fortune cookie that is actually imprinted on the back, and then the name Kowloon on the other side of the sneaker. And they're just as cute as they can be. They say the Joey Fund up on the top, and they're as cute as they can be and just so fun. They're unique and they are really cool. So you guys are going to sell them.
Yes. So we're going to be selling these starting on August 12th on the Kowloon website.
Okay.
We've been auctioning them off at different Joey Fund events. For us, we're working with an unbelievable sneaker artist. His name is Brett Battaglia at Tags Footwear. And this is his original design of sneaker. And, we've had a really fun time. It's taken a while to get to this point. And I know a lot more about sneakers than I ever thought
you would.
A lot more than you wanted to know.
Exactly. And, they come in this awesome takeout food box. And we just had a lot of fun with it. And people love the Kowloon. And they love Kowloon swag. And we're hoping that these go viral in the same manner that the first pair did.
Yeah. And obviously you're going to have to cover the cost of making those, but you're hoping to we hope people will be very generous and look them up and order a pair because, again, those proceeds are going to the Joey Fund. Right. You also have the Joey Fund hat, and is this commemorative for the upcoming event, or is this just something you guys sell?
This is just something we do. Every single year, we come out with a different color. This is last year's color, but my personal favorite one.
Yes.
And we brought these for you.
Oh, fantastic.
And we have the newer one as well. But the hats are a way for us. Every event, we have a bunch of hats on the tables and everything, and we kind of treat it as a flat Stanley type of deal. So people send us in photos of them in their hats, and each year's different color. I have some from Mount Everest, the pyramids.
I bet.
Everywhere people go, they send in their hats, and here's me riding a camel in my Joey hat, and it's really, really cool to get to see that. So that's just a fun way we try to engage our audience.
Great, that's terrific. Talk about the future of the fund. What are you must have goals, you must have ideas for the future. What's the future?
The future, I'm really trying to get a more vibrant young professional group involved. A lot of the people who were originally involved with the Joey Fund were my parents' friends. And, my friends came along with it, but we've got this population of kids who are now on these drugs who are, 21 years old, they're younger, and they have such a supportive community. We're trying to get them much more involved and try to make it fun and come up with some newer events. Obviously, the end goal is to find a cure for cystic fibrosis.
Sure.
But, even once we find a cure, we are going to still be dealing with, existing health problems within the community, mental health problems.
Absolutely.
There's a whole host. So we're hoping that it it evolves in a very natural way, so that we're no longer raising money to cure it, but just to support our community as a whole.
Sure. And how can people get in touch with you?
Oh gosh, you can find me on Instagram. I'm very, very, very active on Instagram at Joey Fund, the Joey Fund. They can get in touch with us on our website, thejoeyfund.org. We're all over the place, so I would love, send me your pictures with your hats, and if anybody wants to talk to me about fundraising, I'm always available. And would love to hear people's ideas about events. So
Right. And some of those young people out there that you were talking about who might want to get involved, right? Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we're looking forward to, this is going to be on the website.
That's right.
As of August 12th, the tennis shoes, I'm calling them tennis shoes, they're sneakers. That was my age and my Midwestern, but they're going to be on the website so people can check it out, and be sure you buy a pair. This is a fun thing. If nothing else, tuck it away and then give it to somebody for the holidays. There you go.
Absolutely.
Right? Love it. Thank you, Kate O'Donnell. Great to see you.
Thank you.
Great to see you. Continued success. When we come back, Bobby and I are going to wrap things up. Stay with us, everybody. You are listening to Kerrigan and Company.
Grease is the world's #1 musical. Grease is a rock and roll celebration, and Grease is still the word at North Shore Music Theater from August 12th through August 24th. Get tickets at nsmt.org.
August is here, and Sienna Aesthetics Medical Spa wants to make sure you close out the summer looking your very best. All month, the Beverly Med Spa is running incredible specials. For example, this month you can bank your Botox for just $11 a unit. That's right, you can pre-purchase up to 100 units and use it when needed at just $11 a unit. Just think, come holiday party time, you'll be all set. Don't miss this kind of savings. Make an appointment online right now. Go to siennaaesthetics.com or call 978-993-8300. This segment of Kerrigan and Company is brought to you by Sienna Aesthetics Medical Spa. Take years off your face with the very latest technologies at Sienna Aesthetics in Beverly. It's that time of the show that we wrap things up. Boy, we've had a great show.
Great show. A lot of great people on.
I know. Kate O'Donnell is really something else, Bobby. I mean, she's impressive. She is energetic. She's excited. What a great young person to be fronting a nonprofit that's so important.
Right, and she's carried the baton from her late father, and she's done a fantastic job. So.
Well, and you guys have been terrific to get involved. I know how strongly you felt about her father, and the idea that the Kowloon has been involved in is supporting the organization is really terrific. So that's really terrific.
Hopefully they find a cure. That's the key. So.
Yeah, wouldn't that be terrific? Yeah. And a quick reminder to everybody, and we'll mention it again, but August 20th, that is the 75th anniversary block party for the Kowloon, with all those proceeds going to the Joey Fund. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. Hey, you know what? We do this thing here. It's called Fast Five. So we give you 30 seconds. It's rapid fire questions.
Is this to me?
To see,
you didn't give me the questions ahead of time.
And we let you answer them to see if you can get them answered in 30 seconds. Okay. Are you up for it?
Okay.
All right, here we go in 3, 2, and 1. What's your favorite dish at the Kowloon?
Well, I grew up, this was a while ago, it was with the beef and mushroom. Very simple. It's like meatloaf for the American palate. For me, it's just the beef and mushroom with chicken fried rice.
There you go. What's the most popular adult beverage at the Kowloon?
The most popular, I don't drink, so that's a little bit of a funny thing, but a Mai Tai, without a doubt.
What did you like most about attending the University of New Hampshire?
It was a great. I worked every weekend, so I came back. So I can't say I really enjoyed the parties as much, even though I was a member of a fraternity, which was fun. But I just think the camaraderie in the dorm. People would move out to an apartment, and I said, no, I like dorm life. I really like to be together with a bunch of people.
Absolutely. Would you rather listen to music from a different decade or music from an artist today?
I would say a different decade.
And can you tell us which one?
I like so many. I would go into spurts. So Elvis, during the COVID, Elvis was my guy, and then it became Queen, and then it was I love it. Other people going along. Not that I don't like the people nowadays, but It's just that it brings up memories, and So I think good memories is a fun thing to have.
You've had a lot of celebrities who have come through the doors at the restaurant. Who do you think is the most famous one?
The most famous, probably The Rock and John Cena. I have to put them together because they're really still very active in pictures, and with Cena, that was the wrestling. So, and those two, I think, because they're such larger than life and they're still very active in the industry, and the fact that they're probably the two nicest guys. I mean, we've had a lot of celebrities, and a lot of them were great. I'm not saying they were bad, but these two were fantastic people.
That's so good to hear. You know, you want to hear that these folks they're good folks, just like, they sort of project themselves to be. Kind of like Mark Pellegrino. He was really terrific.
He was great.
Yeah, what a great guy. I wanted to ask you about the name of the restaurant. So for people who don't know, it was your grandparents who actually started the restaurant, your mother's parents,
right?
And then your mom and dad purchased it, and took it over. Yeah. And your mom and dad changed the name of the restaurant,
right? And they changed it. Originally, it was called the Mandarin House, and when my parents took over, they renamed it the Kowloon. Kowloon literally means 9 dragons, but it's also across the bay from Hong Kong. And it had significance because my father, when he was born in Boston, and people don't realize that, but then his father sent him over back to China for boarding school when he was a young age. And during that time, there was imminent war brewing between China and Japan. And if you're a history buff, you know Japan invaded China, and there was pretty bad, a lot of atrocities that happened. But my grandfather got wind of the fact that, the war was coming, and it's really pretty imminent. He urged my father to leave China immediately, as soon as possible. My father was having such a good time, he kind of balked at the idea, but he eventually, thank God, he listened, otherwise I wouldn't be here. But he actually migrated over to Kowloon, the province over there, and it basically saved his life, because when Japan ended up going into China, it was a pretty bad situation, and it could have, in some ways, it saved his life.
Sure.
And so I think it left a mark, and when he was able to open his own restaurant in 1958, after taking it over from my grandparents, he named it the Kowloon Restaurant.
It sort of saved their lives too, didn't it? Here in the States, the restaurant did, right?
I mean, they worked hard, and they made it flourish, and 75 years later, we're still standing, it's nice. But we're getting older, so there's a time when you have to start thinking of the next phase in our lives.
So let's talk about that, because we haven't talked about it here. I know that you've been very open about the fact that you and your siblings are considering maybe changing the face of this restaurant.
Definitely. So we talked about it as a family, and we didn't want to wake up one day and we're running this restaurant, and all of a sudden, for one reason or another, we said we can't do it anymore, and so we're kind of like behind the 8 ball in terms of how we handle the exit strategy. So our feeling was to be able to take control and manage our future, and we found a great developer, a local developer there, Mike Touchette's his name, and we took him as our developer, and that's what we've gone through the processing so far. We're going to build 200 units of apartments, and on each 2 buildings, and each building they'll have a restaurant underneath it, and naturally one of the buildings has to be a reinvented Kowloon restaurant. So,
I guess a lot of people would say, "What? Why would you do that? We love it here, and there's so many people who come in the restaurant, and this success continues. What about the kids? Why don't they just take it over?"
Well, they're smarter than us. That's why we have, this. Each of my siblings has children of their own, and no one really migrated towards it. We never forced them. My parents never even forced us to go in the restaurant business, which is kind of funny when you think about it. We all kind of it seemed like a natural progression. So,
right.
As far as the next generation, it's always difficult because they don't have that same growing up in the business as us, the 6 siblings did. And it would be difficult and almost unfair to put them together and say, okay, you have to work together and let's start that, keep it going. It's tough. It's tough. And family business is tough. So our thought was whoever decided they wanted to, that's great, but everybody seemed to go in different directions. And like I said, they're smarter than us.
Well, they've watched you guys work very, very hard. Not to say that they aren't hard workers, but it's a difficult business and it's a difficult world to be in. I know I've heard you say many times that when you look back and you think about what your parents did on their own, there weren't 6 of them like there are 6 of you.
Right. I mean, we rarely saw them, growing up. They would, we'd leave for school early in the morning and they'd be sleeping. And then when we came home from school, they'd be gone.
Right.
And, they don't come back home till 2, 3 in the morning and we're sleeping. And then we get up in the morning and go back to school. So, we knew they were there, though. We felt a lot of love in the house. So there was never a situation where we felt like abandoned. Not even, actually, it was the total opposite. We felt so much love from them that, I think that's why everybody migrated to the business, because we wanted to be part of their lives and help them.
Sure, absolutely. Well, you've certainly helped them, and as a third generation, you have carried on a torch that's been amazing and so important to so many generations of New Englanders. So
thank you.
It's greatly appreciated by so many, many people. We want to remind everybody they're celebrating 75 years, and there is a big, they're calling it a block party. It's a gala. It's all happening August the 20th. How can people get involved in that?
Well, you can buy tickets. Again, proceeds are going to be benefiting the Joey Fund, and we have general admission tickets left. We had a lot of sponsors that came on board, and so the tickets are $100 a piece, and it gets you in the place as general admission, so there will be a seat somewhere for you, so you don't have to worry about that. Cash bar, there'll be food available for purchase, and we have some great bands. We have Tavares, and we have Starship with Mickey Thomas.
That's
and
great.
the opening act is Scott Brown and the Diplomats.
Oh, that's so fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. It's going to be great. So, again, if you would like, go to their website, and you can learn more about the tickets and the event that's coming up. That's coming up August the 20th, so in just a couple of weeks. And also, Mark Pellegrino was here, and we just want to let everybody know that if you'd like to attend the Fan Expo, you can go to fanexpohq.com. That's fanexpohq.com. You click the event tab and you can learn more there. Bobby Wong, how fun this has been. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. Continued success.
I appreciate
for you
that.
and the restaurant. It's really terrific.
Thank you very
You're
much.
a great spokesperson for the rest of the family.
Thank you.
That's going to do it for this edition of Kerrigan and Company. We're so glad that you could be with us. If you're watching us on YouTube, be sure you subscribe. And if you're listening to us on another platform, be sure you like us. And we would love it if you'd follow us on social. We'll see everybody next time. Thanks, everybody, for listening to Kerrigan and Company. To find out who will keep me company and be my co-host on the next episode, be sure you follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, and TikTok. Kerrigan and Company is recorded at the Big Night Studios at the TD Garden in Boston. You can view the podcast on YouTube and listen to it wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure you tell a friend. The executive producer of Kerrigan and Company is David Thompson. Our engineer is Peter Hurley, and our social media managers are Grace Kerrigan, Colby Thompson, and Riley Thompson. See you next time.